The night smelled of smoke and betrayal. 10-year-old Zayan Malik stood frozen outside his home, his small hands trembling as flames swallowed the walls where laughter once lived. The wooden door had been broken open. Glass crunched under his feet. Inside, shadows moved, not like people, but like monsters wearing human skin. He had hidden when the black SUVs arrived. He had watched when they dragged his father out. And now, he couldn't move. "Abba!" His voice cracked, barely louder than the crackling fire. Across the courtyard, his father, Hassan Malik, was on his knees, blood running down his forehead, but his back still straight like a man who refused to bow, even in death. A man stepped forward from the darkness, tall, calm, dangerous. Raza Qureshi. A name everyone in the city feared, but never spoke loudly. "You built too much, Hassan," Raza said softly. "You forgot who owns this city." Hassan spat blood and smiled. "I built it without you." Raza's eyes hardened, then he nodded, and the gunshot echoed like thunder. Zayan's world shattered. His mother screamed. Another shot. Silence. Zayan covered his mouth to stop himself from crying out. Tears blurred his vision, but he forced himself to watch, because something inside him understood. If he looked away now, he would forget, and forgetting was betrayal. The men set the house on fire, not just to destroy evidence, but to erase the Malik name. As the flames rose higher, Zayan ran, barefoot, bleeding, alone. Behind him, everything burned. Ahead of him, nothing existed, except one thing, a promise forming deep in his chest. Not spoken, not yet, but alive. 15 years later, the city had changed, but the fear hadn't. People still whispered the name Raza Qureshi like it was a curse. His empire had grown. Real estate, politics, crime, power, untouchable, unbreakable, until one man returned. A black car stopped outside a high-rise building. A man stepped out, sharp suit, calm face, eyes that didn't show emotion, but hid storms. Zayan Malik. Except now, he was known as Zayan Shah, a name built carefully, a life rebuilt silently, and a purpose carved in fire. He looked up at the building, Qureshi Group Headquarters, 15 years, and the fire still burned inside him. A voice behind him spoke. "You're finally here." Zayan turned. A woman stood there, confident, observant. Aisha Khan, investigative journalist, the only person who knew his truth. "You're walking into a lion's den," she said. Zayan's lips barely moved. "I grew up in the fire," he replied. "Lions don't scare me." Inside, everything was polished, clean, powerful, exactly how corruption hides. Zayan walked through security like he belonged, because now he did. He had spent years building influence, contacts, money, piece by piece, lie by lie, until he could stand here, face to face with the man who destroyed his family. The elevator doors opened. Top floor. Raza Qureshi stood near the window, looking over the city like a king over his kingdom. He didn't turn. "Do you know," Raza said calmly, "how many people try to reach me every day?" Zayan walked forward slowly. "But you're here," Raza continued. "That means you're either very important," he turned, "or very dangerous." Their eyes met. For a moment, time stopped. Zayan felt it. The same man, older, but the same eyes that watched his father die. Raza studied him, then smiled faintly. "I don't forget faces," he said. Zayan's heart pounded, but his voice stayed steady. "Then remember mine." A pause, long, heavy. Then Raza chuckled. "No," he said. "You're not important enough. Yet." Zayan smiled slightly, but inside, the fire roared. "Soon," he thought, "you'll remember everything." Outside, Aisha watched the building from her car, gripping her phone. She knew this wasn't just revenge anymore. This was war, and wars never end without blood. The meeting lasted less than 3 minutes, but for Zayan, it was everything. He walked out of the glass tower without looking back, his face calm, his steps measured. No one around him could tell that inside. His pulse was racing like a storm. He had finally seen him again. Raza Qureshi, the man who ended his childhood, the man who thought he had erased the Malik family. Outside, the city moved like nothing had changed. Cars rushed. People laughed. Life continued. But for Zayan, everything had just begun. Aisha was waiting in the car. The moment he sat down, she looked at him carefully. "Well?" she asked. Zayan stared straight ahead. "He doesn't remember me." Aisha frowned. "That's good, isn't it?" Zayan shook his head slowly. "No," he said. "It means I was never important to him." Silence filled the car. Then Zayan leaned back, closing his eyes briefly. "But that changes now." The plan that night, in a dim apartment filled with files, photos, and screens, the real war began. Pictures of Raza's empire covered the wall. Businesses, politicians, allies, enemies, everything connected like a web. At the center, Raza Qureshi. Aisha pointed at one photo. "His biggest strength is also his biggest weakness." Zayan looked. Danish Qureshi, Raza's only son, educated abroad, clean image, public face of the empire. "People trust him," Aisha said. "He's the good side of the family." Zayan's eyes narrowed slightly. "Then we start there." Day 1. Infiltration. Zayan didn't attack with guns. He attacked with patience. Within weeks, he positioned himself inside one of Qureshi Group's major projects, an international construction deal worth billions. Not as an enemy, but as a partner. Meetings, handshakes, fake smiles. Zayan played the role perfectly. Calm, intelligent, valuable. Exactly the kind of man Raza would want close. And slowly, he got closer. The first crack, late evening. Private office. Danish Qureshi sat across from Zayan, reviewing documents. "You're impressive," Danish said, flipping a page. "You built all this in such a short time." Zayan gave a slight smile. "Luck," he replied. Danish chuckled. "There's no such thing as luck at this level." For a moment, Zayan studied him. Danish didn't look like his father. No cruelty in his eyes. No darkness. Just ambition and maybe ignorance. "Do you trust your father?" Zayan asked suddenly. Danish looked up, surprised. "Of course," he said. "Why wouldn't I?" Zayan leaned back. "No reason," he said calmly. "Just curious." But inside, a seed had been planted. Night. The truth begins to move. Aisha sat in front of her laptop, breaking into encrypted files. "Zayan, you need to see this." He walked over. On the screen, old records, hidden transactions, names long buried, and then a file dated 15 years ago. Zayan's hands froze. His voice dropped. "Open it." The video loaded slowly. Grainy footage, security camera. The Malik house. That night. Zayan's breath stopped. He had never seen this angle before. Never seen what happened. From outside his own memory. The video showed everything. The cars, the men. Raza walking in. But then, something unexpected. Another man. Standing beside Raza. Giving orders. Zayan leaned closer. His eyes widened. "No," Aisha whispered. "You recognize him." Zayan didn't answer, because he couldn't. That man was someone still alive, still powerful, and worst of all, someone close. Back to present, Zayan stepped away from the screen. His mind racing, his revenge, had just become bigger, darker, more dangerous. "This isn't just about Raza anymore," he said quietly. Aisha nodded. "You were never just fighting one man," she replied. "You were fighting a system." Zayan looked at the burning image paused on the screen. His childhood, his pain, his truth, and now, a new target. His voice turned cold, stronger than ever. "Then I'll destroy all of it." Elsewhere, Raza Qureshi stood in his office, looking at the city. A man approached him quietly. "There's something you should know," the man said. Raza didn't turn. "Speak." "Zayan Shah." The man hesitated, He's not who he claims to be. Raza's eyes slowly narrowed. For the first time, interest appeared. Find out, he said calmly. The man nodded and left. Reza finally smiled. A slow, dangerous smile. Maybe, he whispered, you are important after all.